Hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Coco and Binks are here, and we are continuing Steins Gate. I apologize if there is further audio weirdness. My headphones died, so I can only hear through one ear, so I don't know how that's going to affect the game, if at all. I've noticed sometimes game audio gets a little muffled when Binks tries to speak, so hopefully that doesn't actually get caught in the recording itself.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Moeka and FB are gone, but Mayuri's fate remains unchanged. The universe still demands her death. Hey, Christina. When I send the D-mail and change divergence, do you think Moeka's fate will change?
Based on the attractor field model you spoke of, she'll be more likely to live if divergence exceeds 1%. Sorry, I wish I knew what to say.
Don't worry about it. I stand up. Moeka's blood clings to my hands. It won't come off even when I wipe it with a tissue.
At least go run it under water, you know?
I stop trying and take out FB's phone. I nod to Kurisu. She calls Daru and tells him to activate the phone wave name subject to change. I take one last look at Moeka's body, lying there. Causality is a strange and terrifying thing. At the beginning of all this, Moeka killed Mayuri. But now Moeka lies dead, while Mayuri still lives. All because I changed the past. Moeka, if you're going to apologize for a sin you didn't commit, then I must apologize as well. I am responsible for twisting your fate. And for twisting the fate of Tenoji Nae. I ruined that innocent girl's life, made her something other than what she was meant to be. Is it okay to just leave her like this? Of course, if I send the D-mail now, this world line will be undone. Nae's twisted fate will be corrected. There's no point in worrying about it. I should just think
Doubt.
about Mayuri.
I don't know, man. Something about that. I'll see you in 15 years, and I don't know. I got this vibe that somehow it's gonna carry over.
I shouldn't burden myself with any more problems. Is this really okay? Of course it is. Send the D-mail. That's all I need to do. Okay. That's stop search PC unneeded standby.
Yeah, that seems good.
Why do I always have trouble with this and forget how it is that you do it?
Maybe it won't let you yet because it looks like he's hesitating, or?
I already know what I need to do. The thing is that, like, with these, he always has, like, this moment where he's like, I need to do this, I need to do this. Because it's possible to just let it go through. Like, I mean, to not
Yeah.
do it. But that means that you also need a...
So you tried right-clicking and everything, and it's still not doing it?
Nope. I feel like there's, like, a specific spot you need to click or something.
Okabe?
Wasn't there something strange about that girl?
That girl. You mean Nai-chan?
I nod.
She was like a different person.
What did she mean she'll kill me in 15 years? It bothers me.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not just me. Okay.
Does she know something? What was she implying?
Don't worry about it, Okabe. Send the D-mail right now. That'll solve everything.
I put FB's phone in my pocket. I can't pretend I didn't see that.
Oh.
Naya's crime is partly my responsibility. And I need to know what she meant when she promised to kill me 15 years from now.
I did not know we were going to explore this avenue.
What? I'm time
Really?
leaping back to the lab. Kurisu sighs, but I pretend not to hear it.
Is this the right thing? Is this really supposed to happen?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Our enemy, but...
Kurisu glances at Moeka, then whispers into my ear.
Isn't she our enemy?
Ah, okay, this is normal. I just
Oh.
double-checked with the walkthrough.
Okay.
It's about 7 a.m., right?
Huh? Well, yeah, but where did that question come from?
After time leaping 4 hours back, I find myself in front of the station. This is right after Moeka and I met up with Kurisu after returning from Narita Airport. After this comes the Tenoji residence. Moeka is standing a few meters away, kicking the dirt in boredom. Moeka was dead just a few minutes ago. Now she's perfectly fine. I feel no surprise. I suppose I've grown accustomed to this particular facet of time travel. After all, I've seen Mayuri come back to life countless times already. There's one other thing experience has taught me. Today, Moeka and Tenoji will die, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. I know it's cruel, but I didn't come back here to save them. I don't have the means to, and it isn't my problem. Problem is Nae. We arrive in front of Tenoji's house, just like we did before I time leaped. But this time I wait outside with Kurisu. Moeka enters alone, expressionless as ever. While we wait outside, I tell Kurisu what's about to happen. I also tell her to wait a little after she hears the gunshot, and then go inside and take Tenoji's phone.
Is it still gonna go down the way it did? Because if he's not in there talking about Suzu-san, then Tenoji might not flip out the same way?
We'll see. It feels like an eternity passes in silence. And then... Kurisu gasps. Her body goes stiff.
There really was a gunshot.
I immediately look around. Just as Kurisu told me, I see a girl come out of the window. She walks away quickly, but at the same time taking care not to make a sound. That's not how a child acts after witnessing her father's death.
Right?
Wait! Nai looks over her shoulder. She spears me with eyes full of hatred. That alone is enough to make me shiver. It's pitiful, but a tiny little girl is making me nervous. Something is very wrong here. This Nai is like a completely different person. I want to know her true identity. That's why I time-leaped instead of sending the D-mail. Nai is still running, ignoring my calls to stop. I run after her. Out of shape though I may be, I'm still more than a match for a 12-year-old girl. That's something to be proud of. The distance between us quickly shortens.
Wait, what if she has the knife?
Nai keeps running, occasionally looking back at me and grinding her teeth in a very unchildlike manner. Normally a child being chased by a man will cry and scream things like, "Stay away!" or "Help!" But this girl says nothing. The only sound is her heavy breathing. "Stop!" I call out to her once more when she's nearly in arm's reach. Unexpectedly, Nai slows down and eventually stops to catch her breath. Looks like she's realized she can't get away. From the sound of her breathing, she must be at her limit. We're alone. Kurisu and Moika must still be at the house, and the streets are empty thanks to the Oban holidays. Perfect. I was afraid someone might report me as a child. Now I can get what I need to know out of this strange girl who looks like Nai.
Oh dear.
Don't hit me, YouTube.
Right.
Every time I have to read something weird, I can just imagine, like, the YouTube logo with a giant ruler that's just slapping into its palm. I call out to her as I catch my breath. Are you really Tenochi Nai? Nai glares at me as she catches her breath. You plan to kill Kiryu Moika after this, don't you?
That's right.
She punctuates her nonchalant reply with a cruel smile. That is not the face of a child. Revenge for your father.
You and Kiryu Moika killed Daddy.
Your dad killed himself. He blew his own brains out.
Wow. I mean, I know that's not technically Nai, I guess, but to say that to a little girl.
Right? He would have done it even if we hadn't been here. It's not our fault.
I don't care.
What?
Kiryu Moika was there when Daddy died. She didn't stop him. I won't forgive her. Nor you, Okabe Rintaro. You weren't there, but Daddy wouldn't have died if you hadn't gotten involved.
Wait, is she blaming me for finding the IBN 5100? How the hell was I supposed to know?
I won't kill you now. I can't.
The tiny little girl, barely half my height, looks up at me with a smile that chills my blood.
I'll kill you in 15 years. Keep living in fear until then.
I get on my knees and grab Nai by the shoulders. I hold back my terror and meet her stare for stare. And yet, this girl doesn't even flinch. Who are you? She isn't Tenochi Nai. What do you mean you'll kill me in 15 years?
Exactly what it sounds like. 15 years from now, I killed you.
Killed? Why is she using past tense? Nai laughs once, a harsh and mocking sound. And she leans in and whispers,
You still don't get it. Just now you asked who I am. I am Tenoji Nai, no doubt about that. But I remember the next 15 years.
no. Did she... time leap? Nai suddenly whips out a knife, catching me completely off guard.
That's what I said, fool. You know she has one. Ooh.
Nai drives the knife into the elbow of my right arm, which was grabbing her shoulder. Blood sprays into Nai's face, but she doesn't even blink.
Oh, this is creepy.
Instead, she laughs. Just like she laughed when she killed Moeka. Damn it. The intense pain brings me to my knees. For a moment I panic, but somehow I manage to convince myself that I'm fine. I won't die here, I tell myself. This world line won't accept that. It's just like Nai said herself. It's not that she won't kill me. She can't. If she tried, something would surely interfere.
Want to hear how I killed you? In the future, you were one of the founders of the resistance against CERN. But I captured you and imprisoned you and tortured you every which way I could think of.
Ew.
You cried and screamed and begged for your life, all while covered in piss and shit.
Ooh.
You were one sorry sight, Okabe Rintaro. After I ran out of things to do, I finally slit your throat, and I stabbed you over and over and over again, so many times I don't even remember. That's how your life is going to end. That's your punishment for murdering Daddy.
Nai grabs my arm and digs her tiny fingers into the wound. My nerves burst into flame, not just in my arm, but throughout my entire body. Pain forces the air out of my lungs in a blood-curdling scream. I can't shake off Nai's hands. I can't even move a finger against the pain.
CERN confiscated your time leak machine. It kept it locked away for 15 years until I came for it. After I became a rounder and killed you, I used that machine to come all the way back here. It was hard, let me tell you. That piece of shit can't leave more than 48 hours at a time. To travel 15 years in 48-hour increments would take... Oh, to travel 15 years in 48-hour increments would take... Damn, I can't calculate through the pain. 2,738 leaps.
Jesus.
I messed up a few times, so it was really more like twice that. At least, I kinda lost count after a while.
Now I get it. When I came to this world line, I went back to the lab after learning of Moeka's suicide. Once I got there, I found evidence someone had used a time leap machine.
Oh, yeah.
So that was Nai's final time leap. Nai
Wow.
keeps staring into my eyes as her fingers crawl deeper into my wound. I bite my lip in a desperate attempt to bear the pain. My blood won't stop flowing. It collects into a puddle and stains the asphalt dark red.
Revenge was all I lived for. I won't let anyone get in my way. I will kill Kiryu Moika with my own 2 hands. I won't let that bitch kill herself. She doesn't deserve to go out easy.
You left 15 years just for that. She's insane. And it was Moeka and I who made her that way, who turned an innocent little girl into a creature of hatred starved for vengeance. We stole 15 years of her life. 15 years. I can't understand what it's like to live with such hatred for so long.
Just for that?
Nai's slender fingers pry deeper into my wound, so deep I can feel her fingers against my bone.
Yes.
It might not mean much to you, but to me, killing you two means everything.
So you kill Moeka. But what comes next?
Next,
Are you going to repeat those 15 years all over again?
what do I care about those 15 years? There's nothing for me there.
She does not cry. She does not sneer. Her voice is flat and emotionless as she speaks these words. There's nothing more I can say to this girl I destroyed. At last, Nai lets go of my arm. She looks in disgust at her hands, now covered in my blood.
I don't need anything from you now. Just wait in fear and regret, Okabe Rintaro, until I come for you in 15 years.
I'm powerless to stop her from running away. Dry laughter leaks out of my mouth. That girl's disconnected from causality, just like I am. I asked her what she would do after killing Moeka. She didn't answer. The first time she lived those 15 years, all she had was revenge. And after time leaping thousands of times, she exacted that revenge. How will she live those 15 years the second time around? Will she kill me again? Will her revenge be complete then? Or will it continue forever until she forgets why? The thought squeezes my heart like a vice. Does time travel bring nothing but pain? Yes.
Yes,
We
pretty
built
much.
a time machine out of curiosity. We were fools. If not for our meddling, CERN would not have targeted us. Mayuri would not have died. Suzuha would not have had to travel to the past. Ferris would not have lost her father twice. Lukaku would not have to forsake her feelings for me or her identity. And Moeka
Yep.
would not have killed Mayuri.
Okabe.
Kurisu runs up to me. She turns pale at the sight of my bleeding arm.
What happened? Are you okay?
She kneels in front of me. Worry is etched on her face. The phone.
I brought it, but
Kurisu hands me FB's phone. I take it and start typing out the mail with my left hand.
hey, tell me what happened, will you? Should I call an ambulance?
Calm down. I'm going to send the D-mail now.
Right. If the world line changes, then this wound will go away.
Yes, but who cares about my wound? Tanoji's death, Moeka's death, and the damage to Nai's soul will all be undone. That's what matters. I finish the mail and take a breath. Hey, why do you think Tanoji didn't kill Moeka?
What do you mean?
Any rounder who finds an IBN 5100 is silenced. No exceptions. That's what Tanoji said. In that case, the one who should have been eliminated first was Moeka. She found the IBN 5100 in the first place. And yet, Tanoji cut contact with her instead. And when we exposed his true identity, he shot himself, not Moeka. I think he wanted to save Moeka. Perhaps that's just wishful thinking. Perhaps I'm just looking for an ounce of comfort in all this suffering. Even if it was Tanoji's intention, It was meaningless. Moeka will die today. Whether by her own hand or Nai's, it doesn't matter. However, I hope it works out on the Beta World line. They are the enemy. I should hate them for killing my Yuri. But in some sense, Tenoji, Moeka, and Nai are all just victims of my foolish experiments. I pray that they can live normal lives, at least on the Beta World line. For their sake as well as my Yuri's, I must send this D-mail. Sorry, Nai. Once this D-mail is sent, the world line will be undone. But I can't let you have your revenge.
Good. I'm glad that was not a mystery that I was always going to be stuck wondering about later.
The world shatters, warps, and reforms. Eventually, those sensations disappear, and color gradually returns to the world. I find myself standing in the street near the lab. The burning pain in my right arm is suddenly gone, too.
I can't remember. Are there more D-mails for us to undo at this point, or is that it?
Of all the lab members, I believe that was the last one.
Okay.
I look down. There's no wound, no blood. Instead, I'm holding a convenience store bag with 2 bottles of Dr. P. I guess it worked. I head straight for Moeka's apartment. When I get there, Moeka opens the door normally and peeks out at me. She looks fine. No signs of despair, no blood stain by the door, no knife either.
Okabe-kun. How did you know where I...
Let me kill some time here. I barge into the room. The hour of Moeka's death passes with no sign of Nai. The world line has changed.
Well, that's how she used to be.
Moeka's right in front of me, but she sends me mail.
I don't need an IVN 5100 anymore, Moeka.
It feels like forever since we last conversed like this. What do you mean?
My supervisor told me to stop looking.
FB told you to stop.
Oh, he shouldn't have said that.
Oh, the way her eyes just shifted was actually kind of creepy a little.
Right? How do you know about FB? Where did you get that information?
So, FB's still alive. I feel relief, but also fear. I mustn't forget that he is my enemy. For now, however, I'm more interested in what Moeka just said. FB cancelled her mission to retrieve the IBN 5100.
Doing your duty sets you up for disposal, so we're more like cattle than dogs.
I recall his last words. Perhaps he cancelled her mission so they wouldn't be eliminated.
But doesn't she mean the D-mail we sent? I'm confused.
That's what I was just thinking, because I was like, ooh, how... I mean, if he... Yeah, it is very confusing. Because that's what I was assuming, too. And if at any point she responded and it was like, okay, so what do we do now? Tenoya's going to be like, what do you mean, what do we do now? You're looking for the the IBN.
Right?
Well, maybe they'll explain it. Let's see.
Yeah.
If that's the truth, then maybe he really was trying to save Moeka.
Live in fear and regret, Okabe Rintaro, until we meet again in 15 years.
I wonder what happened to Nai. I can't get that childish yet hate-filled voice out of my head. On that world line, I turned an innocent girl into a murderer. I bite my lip hard, hard enough to draw blood. I won't fear you, Nai, nor will I repent. That world line has already been undone. But how will things turn out on this new world line? This is just one of the things that kind of comes with this sort of medium of visual novels. But especially since we're reading it out loud and how long it takes to read out loud, Moeka asked him a question, and from her perspective, it probably seems like he's just been standing there staring blankly for a minute.
Right?
I can't get that image out of my head.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I think that happens in a lot of these like visual novels. It's like, how long are they standing there just thinking? I like how in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend they actually addressed that they were like, oh yeah, sometimes when she's singing those songs in her head, she's actually sitting in the real world blanked out, and they're actually used to it by now.
Yeah, I love that. That was so funny.
Yep.
But how will things turn out on this new world line? No, there's no point thinking about it. If the plan works, the IBN 5100 should already be back in my possession. And if that's the case, then there's no need to stay on this world line either. On the way back to the lab, I stopped by the brown tube workshop and peek in through the window. The 42-inch CRT is powered on, and Tenoji, FB, is lounging in front of it, reading the sports page. FB is alive. His daughter, Nai, has no reason to hate anyone now. I climbed the stairs to the lab.
I can't believe he was the bad guy all along. It's still like, whoa.
So, one unfortunate thing that happened with the previous two recordings, the audio got captured perfectly fine, but for some reason the visual was black, so I have to kind of go back and re-record that for the visuals.
Oh.
But I told Hoodoo that we finally got to that review, and she's just like, I can't wait to see it.
I think I was one of the most shocked that I've ever been.
Yeah. There's nobody there but Kurisu. Have you been to Kiryu Moeka's apartment?
Huh?
Kurisu pauses her final browsing session to look at me in confusion.
Moeka-san's apartment? Never.
Oh. Okay.
Why do you ask?
It doesn't matter. Just wondering. I cut across the lounge and head straight for the development room. In the middle of that room sits the time leap machine. After a glance at the time leap machine, I scan the shelves. It's here! A large, familiar cardboard box. Oh, isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
Right? The ship is finally reunited.
I was right. Inside the box is the IBN 5100, the legendary retro PC stolen from me by a twist of fate. At last it has returned. The long battle is finally over. I did it. We can save my Yuri! Haru! Haru, where's my super haka? Oh, you. I want to see that beautiful face. Mwah, mwah. I can't contain my excitement. My heart is beating like a jackhammer.
He's not here. He went to Komima, remember?
Oh, right. In that case, he won't return until evening. I can't wait that long. So I fire up the time machine and leap.
I'm mentally trying to figure out like what the next steps are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know.
As shape and color return to the world, I see Dato in front of his computer, sleepily playing an eroge. Kurisu's napping on the sofa. She probably just got done with her all-nighter on the time loop machine. Mayuri's not around. She probably went to Lukaku's to beg him to cosplay. Or Daru, Christina. Kurisu jerks awake. It's time for the final phase of Operation Rathandi. My sonorous declaration earns only blank stares. Why are they so slow? The IBN 5100, Daru. Yeah. Listen to me, man. We have an IBN 5100.
Of course we do. You're the one who found it, Okarin.
Yes, I did. I found it at Yanobayashi Shrine.
Have you been drinking too much soda?
Let me sleep, for crying out loud.
Kurisu rubs her eyes and complains. She looks dead tired.
I was up all night.
Question, Daru. Have you researched how to use the IBN 5100?
Huh? Well, yeah, I guess. Can you believe I did it while preparing for Komima? I'm like a saint or something. They'd knight me for this in England.
Then we shall call you Sir Super Hacker.
Oh no.
Will you guys shut up? You're giving me a headache.
If Daru knows how to use the IBN 5100, then we can hack CERN right now. Hear me, lab mems. Mayuri's not here, but that's actually more convenient. Our long struggle has at last reached its climax. Ragnarok is at hand. Now we must deliver the decisive blow. With the power of the IBN 5100, we shall crack CERN's most secure database and destroy it from the inside. Through the cowardly apparatus known as Echelon, the enemy has acquired precious intelligence on our activities. Now they plot to steal our sacred time machine, upon which rest the hopes and dreams of all mankind. Beneath its scholarly trappings, CERN is a hive of scum and villainy, of men who would sacrifice innocent souls in their quest to rule all space and time. But now we are poised to crush them with the hammer of justice. And when we do, they will know once and for all by whose hand the wheel of fate truly turns. When the sun sets upon the battlefield, the foul system that rules the world will crumble, and from the flames a new age will rise, an age of glorious and unfettered chaos.
Ugh, shut up.
Kurisu gets fed up and rises from the sofa.
What are you talking about?
Nobody can know the darkness in Okarin's heart.
First, get your character straight. What kind of mad scientist talks about the hammer of justice?
I guess he just got caught up in the heat of the moment. Maybe he regrets it now.
Come on, guys, stop complaining and get ready.
Get ready.
To crack CERN, weren't you listening?
I don't think that's a good idea.
When did you become a goody two-shoes? Where's your ambition?
Are you trying to get us arrested?
That's not the problem. I fight the urge to grind my teeth. Instead, I fix Kurisu with my stare. It's taking me so long, just to reach this point. This is my chance to escape the Alpha World line and save my Yuri. I won't let anyone get in my way. Anyone!
Okabe?
Oh, why so serious, man?
I've got good reasons. To them, only half an hour has passed since the time leap machine was built. But to me, many days have passed since this ordeal began. Please! I bow my head deeply. Please hear me out. Or else Mayuri will die, and in 26 years the world will be ruled by CERN. Suzuha's sacrifice will have been for nothing. Daru claps me on the shoulder, and smiles broadly and thrusts his thumb skyward.
It's not like I'm cracking for you or anything, okay?
Oh god.
I burst out in laughter. Sir Super Haka Tsundere version is here to save the day. I couldn't have asked for a better right-hand man. As Daru hooks the IBM 5100 to his PC, I explained the situation one more time. Let's hope this is the last. This all happened because of the very first D-mail I sent to Daru. CERN intercepted that D-mail with Echelon and figured out what it meant. Then they sent their rounders after us. They will kill Mayuri, kidnap us, and steal the time leap machine. Some years after that, I assume, Daru and I escape and form the resistance to which Suzuha belonged. I tried to save Mayuri, but nothing worked. Every world line converged on the same result, just as attractor field theory said they would.
You know, if this is all in your head, I think you've got a career as a light novel author ahead of you.
Light novel. Illustrated novels targeted primarily at teenage and young adult males. Cover artwork often depicts cute girls. Although light novels can deal with just about any subject matter, recent years have seen a trend towards stories about teenage boys meeting cute girls and winding up in extraordinary situations.
I've never read a light novel. I really want to.
Me neither.
I want to
To me,
read
it's almost like a manga, right?
I mean, I don't know, because it's mostly is just writing. Like, there aren't panels and stuff, from my understanding. It just occasionally has an illustration.
Got it.
I really want to read the light novel for Sekai no Yori, just to see what was going on there that didn't get to the anime.
Mhm.
But it's not translated, unfortunately.
Ah.
It's true. All of it. To prevent Mayuri's death. And to free Suzuha's future from CERN. We need to escape from the Alpha World line. I think we can do that by canceling all of our changes to the timeline so far. That should return us to the Beta World line. The world line that existed before I sent that first email. There's just one more step. We need to erase the first email from CERN's database. If what Suzuha said is correct, Then erasing that data will take us over 1% divergent and back to the beta world line. It was just one short email. Barely 36 bytes, but it changed the course of human history. The butterfly effect.
Fascinating.
Kurisu mutters as she sips her hot coffee. It looks like she's already recovered from her exhaustion.
You believe him, Makisashi?
In theory, I'd like to see objective data, but that's obviously impossible.
Relax. Your time leap machine worked perfectly.
Of course it did.
She doesn't deny it. That's just like Kurisu.
Besides, we were already planning to crack CERN's database, weren't we? Fine, let's see what's in there. If the mail data exists, then it's proof that what you said is true.
So what you're saying is, don't think, feel. Got it.
You lost me.
What he meant to say was, don't think, do. Daru extracts his massive body from the space behind the desk, plops himself down in the chair, and wipes away his sweat.
Done bridging them. I need to tinker with the settings a little, but we should be up and running in about 10 minutes.
All right.
So the first email started everything. Was that the one you showed me at ATF? The one that said I died or something?
Right. I found you dead at Rodicon and sent Daru an email. Daru happened to be experimenting on the phone wave at the time, so the discharge phenomenon occurred in the mail. Was. My voice trails off.
See, I was hoping and wondering when we would come back to this.
Something is telling me to stop. Fear rises in my chest. A sudden, terrible certainty that I am missing something vital. I frantically replay the conversation in my head. We must cancel all of our changes to the timeline so far. The very first D-mail started it all. The one that said I died or something. Return to the world line that existed before I sent the first D-mail.
Is that really a D-mail though? I'm kind of like, I guess so, but it's just weird.
An icy fist seizes my heart. I turn to Kurisu with a look of pure terror. Our eyes meet. Those eyes of her no longer show the sharp defiance from when we first met. Instead, they glow warmly with the light of curiosity.
What?
I was right. I'd missed something vital, something dire. The world line I set my sights on to save Mayuri. The world line upon which Suzuha staked her hope for the future. The world line I am at last poised to reach at the end of this long struggle. On that world line, Mayuri lives. On that world line, CERN fails. And on that world line, on the 8th floor of Radikan, Makise Kurisu dies. Oh gosh. I remember when I watched this when I first visited Kudu, and I wasn't really trying to predict anything. I was just going along with the ride, and when we got to this point, I had like an actual physical reaction where I was like, "How can I just toss myself on her couch?"
Oh, it's horrible because I don't know how he'll be able to save my Yuri and her.
Mhm.
I just find it shocking, honestly, that I know because it happened so long ago and a lot of other crazy stuff happened. It's like the fact that he forgot and then he never really explored that mystery always shocked me. I was like, "Come on, that was a big deal. Like, how did she get killed? Why? Like why did you never really think more about it?" But now I
I
guess now it's time.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is also because that happened before he even had an inkling of anything about D-mails or that they had gotten a functional time machine. So
Yeah.
he probably hadn't made any sort of connection at the time. And then, as you said, so many other things were happening, and he was so hyper focused on just trying to save Mayuri.
Yeah. I just felt maybe I guess a part of me was like when it first happened before Mayuri died and all that, I was kind of
Hmm.
like, "Oh, he kind of just like brushed it off like, oh, maybe it was a nightmare or a dream." But I would have been like, "What the fuck?" Especially once you got to meet her and know her, I would have been like, "Okay, that's a little weird." Like, I don't know. But now I'm scared for her. I'm worried.
I thought that I had found the solution, that everything would be all right, but the equation was meaningless. It had solved nothing. Instead, I am left with a terrible choice.
No. My
Sophie,
OT3. I'm so sad.
Mayuri, or Kurisu. One of them must die. Vatican is still off limits. They haven't yet repaired the hole that Suzuha's time machine made. I look down through the hole at the streets of Akiba. From up here, they look narrow and stifling. That was a weird noise.
Right? It sounded like a cat. Like
It sounded like like that's something I would have expected from a horror game, like some ghost or something.
yeah.
Across the way, train rumbles by. I watch the yellow striped cars move past. I came here because I wanted to be alone. The day before yesterday, I abruptly cancelled the attempt to hack CERN. Kurisu and Daru demanded an explanation, but I just couldn't give them one. The decision has paralyzed me. 2 days later, I am still nowhere close to finding an answer.
Wow, he was willing to kind of sacrifice everybody else.
Mm,
But I know it's different. It's very different because, he's come to really care for her.
yeah, and the only reason he has even made the progress he has is because of her.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, there are a lot of times in anime where, you'll have the heterosexual couple, and it's like, this feels like really shoved in. But I can believe the feelings between Okabe and Kurisu, especially because like it would take a lot for me to believe someone, even in the circumstances. It would take so much for me to believe someone if they told me everything that Okabe had said and then just thrown myself completely into helping them. Like, that is wild.
Yeah. She hasn't
And
known him for long, but there's definitely a deep bond already.
mhm. And it's just me. I can barely even wrap my mind around the sort of gratitude I would feel towards someone for doing all Kurisu did for Okabe. Ooh.
Mhm.
What do I do? 2 weeks ago, on July 28th, Dr. Nakabachi held a press conference in this very spot. The same day Kurisu was murdered. Let's say we go through the plan and delete the first email I sent. The one about Kurisu's death from CERN's database. That would return us to the Beta World line where it all began. What would happen then? According to my predictions, our friend, lab member number 004, Makise Kurisu, would disappear. Someone who died on July 28th cannot be alive now, on August 15th. That would defy causality. Time paradox. That world line has already rejected her existence. The moment we erase the D-mail, Kurisu will cease to exist. And so, I am left with two options. Option 1. Hack CERN with the IBN 5100 and erase the first D-mail I sent, thus returning to the Beta World line. Kurisu will disappear, but Mayuri will live. CERN will never build a time machine, and the future will be free. Option 2. Don't hack CERN. Keep living here on the Alpha World line. Mayuri will die, so will Moeka and FB. Kurisu will likely be kidnapped by CERN, but at the very least she won't die. With her research, CERN will gain control of space-time, and the future will be a dystopia where no one is free. And I'm supposed to choose? Ridiculous. I choke out a laugh. How am I, of all people, supposed to make that choice? There's no way. And since we're getting to the end of this episode, this is just making me think about something. Because there are some people who would say that this choice is easy. Obviously, go with the one that saves the greater number. Like, if it just takes sacrificing one person, then it's worth it. And it reminds me of how when The Last of Us first came out. Spoilers for anyone who is not familiar with that and wants to stay blind. Do you know the premise, or do you know like the ending?
Yes.
You know the ending? Okay. Yes. So yeah, a lot of people were saying that it's a shitty ending because of how selfish Joel is for essentially taking away the cure from everyone. And like, I agree. I mean, this is one of those things where it's a little weird because for me the solution would be to just let Ellie live out her life, grow into an elderly person. When she's at the end of her life, then make the cure from that. Make the cure then.
Yeah.
But if we're in a situation where it's either it has to be done now so we can maximize the amount of lives saved, versus that, it's like, yeah, I guess it's the more quote-unquote moral thing to sacrifice one person, but it's very easy to say that when it's not a loved one of yours who's going to be killed.
Right.
So yeah, I think this is definitely a moral quandary, and if we're going to start having that idea of, just kill whoever to save the bigger number, then that starts sliding into an ends justifies the means sort of philosophy, and it's a slippery slope.
It's the trolley problem, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we will go ahead and end this episode right here with this revelation, which absolutely killed me when I first saw it.
Yeah, dang it.
How you feeling, Binks?
I don't know. It hurts. I feel like no matter what, something sad is gonna happen at the end of this game.
Alrighty, well then, thank you all for watching. As always, please do take care of yourselves and each other. Toodaloo!
Bye-bye.